Okay, if you'd say your name, please.
I'm David Duvall.
And what's your position here?
I'm the owner of Duvall's Academy.
Okay. And so, as Lori said, our package is mostly about safety in Maryville. How safe do you think Maryville is?
I tend to think of it's really quite safe. It's not as safe as it once was, perhaps. I've been doing this for 33 years, and it was safer 33 years ago than it is today, largely because the environment's changed. There's a different group of people in town, and in a university town, that changes every year pretty much. You have new folks come into town. Sometimes that's good, sometimes not. We've added different industries, different operations to our culture. That's brought other people to town. So it's not what it once was. And then the added dimension a lot of people don't think about is the economy. When the economy goes south, people start doing things they wouldn't do in a healthy economy because they no longer are concerned about being in trouble. They're more concerned about eating and having gas and sometimes, unfortunately, drugs and whatever else their cravings might be. But that brings that safety factor down fairly quickly.
Okay, so in a generally safe community like Maryville, why do you think having a karate dojo and teaching like self-defense is important?
Wow. How long can we, I can go on forever? Okay.
Yeah,
a huge part of it is beyond the obvious. A lot of people see the martial arts as just that. You learn how to defend yourself, how to fight, how to do the things which protect you. And that's all very, very true. But what we train on is on 3 levels. It's body, mind, and spirit. So the one you see the most of, and is the most obvious to an outsider, is the body. You're strengthening, you're stretching, you're training the body to strike, you're turning the body into a weapon. But that's irresponsible if you do only that. In other words, pretty much anybody can take somebody off the street and within 2 weeks turn them into a killer. That's not tough. That's an easy thing because all you're doing is teaching how to physically use your body to do harm to others. That's not our mission. Our mission is to teach you how to do it, but also to teach you when to do it. Otherwise, it's irresponsible. Why would you teach people how to hurt each other if you're not going to teach them how not to and when it's necessary and when it's not? And that's one of the beauties of Hapkido, is Hapkido is a defensive art. In other words, we never start fights. That's not the nature of the art. The nature of the art is we finish them, and we finish them really well. And that's what's really nice about it. And with the amount of training that's available, you actually get to a point where you can actually defend yourself without hurting them. You can stop them from hurting you and put them in enough pain that they just stop. And then when you let go of them, they're fine. Now, if you need to, if there's 4 people coming at you, you can drop the first 2 in a heartbeat. They may not get up again, but at least you're not injured, or your family. And that one, I think, is probably a bigger part of it. The world is not so small anymore. To be that people could be born in Maryville, live their entire career and life in Maryville, die in Maryville. That's not as likely to happen anymore. The world has gotten way smaller. There's very few people left in town that don't travel on airlines, that don't travel some distance, to large cities. That's when your danger factor goes up. If you visit Chicago, if you visit Las Vegas, if you visit New York, all those numbers change. Now you've gone from a population where it's highly safe to a population where it's not so true. And you as an outsider are particularly vulnerable because you can be spotted. It's not unlike on campus or any educational facility. Everybody knows who the freshmen are. You can spot them in a heartbeat. You just kind of go, freshman. The same thing's true in a large city. They know you don't belong there. Fresh meat, unfortunately, is more the saying that goes with that. So being able to defend yourself just allows you to travel in the world, not to be trapped. Because my philosophy is always to make your world bigger, never smaller. If your world gets smaller, eventually you die. So you either grow or you die. That's God's world. If you look at the things around you in God's world, they're either living and growing or they're dying or dead. That's the only states there are. So I choose to grow, and I teach my students to do the same thing. So they learn to protect themselves so that regardless of where they go in their life, they're physically, mentally, and spiritually prepared to face whatever challenge comes.